Hello again there folks, and welcome back once again to my channel for some more solo gaming. I am the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for stumbling your way across this video. If you enjoy it, please do consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Now today we're going to be playing a game called Escape the Zone. And this is a new game from Martin Ulay, who is the designer of the prequel to this game, which is called Into the Zone. Both of these are adventures designed for solo play specifically, and the new game, Escape the Zone, is essentially an expanded version of the original game Into the Zone. So where Into the Zone was one side of A4 of rules and one side of adventure content, the new game has enough in it to warrant a small booklet. Now, I haven't played through it yet. I'm going to be playing it for the first time on camera, but I think that's going to be okay. I have read the rules section of the book. We'll go through the rules quickly, but I'll be covering those rules as I play through the game in this playthrough. We've got a character sheet here with the various attributes and areas for bits and pieces that we'll be collecting as we are playing. So probably the best way for me to introduce the game is to read through this introductory text here. By the way, I believe there is a nice physical version of this game. I'm sure Martin will pop up in the comments to give you more information on that, or to say whether I'm right and wrong on that account. But Martin sent me this. However, it is available for a couple of dollars on the itch page of Martin's company, which is called Head Cheese Productions. I'll put a link in the description below. But what I've got here is I printed out at home myself, so it might look a little bit scrappy. Yeah, bear in mind, I think there is a nice version. I didn't print it out the front cover because that was quite ink heavy, so I haven't got the nice front and back cover on this. Okay, let's crack on. I'll read you the introductory text and then we'll get into it. The visitation zones are extremely deadly to all life forms. They contain space-time anomalies and random locations capable of killing anyone by fire, lightning, gravity, or other bizarre paradoxes. Even worse, the perimeter of each zone seems to be expanding after mighty radiation storms called emissions. Anyone caught outside during these events is cooked alive or simply vaporized. Scientists, military forces, religious cults and private collectors from all over the world are desperate to get their hands on artifacts. Officials of the visited countries fear that some artifacts may contain enough power to unleash terrible calamities or even destroy the world. Security perimeters were erected around the zones. Armed soldiers guard them to prevent unauthorized visitors from entering. These guards are allowed to arrest or kill any trespassers. Specialized mercenaries are the only ones willing to risk their lives to illegally recover artifacts from the zone in exchange for a huge profit. These mercenaries are called Stalkers. You are one of them. So Escape the Zone is, in much the same way as the first game, a system and a adventure world that draws upon the idea of having these strange pockets of unpredictable phenomena and creatures within our own normal world. So this is the sort of idea that popped up in books like Annihilation and maybe The Mist, things like that, where you have these unpredictable areas of strangeness in the world that threaten to affect or take over the normal world in which we live. So it's kind of like an old idea, I guess, but one that I haven't seen utilised much in tabletop gaming. Feel free to point out the other things that I've missed that use this sort of concept, but this is the first sort of thing that I've come across. Right, so we are a stalker, and we're a stalker that has found ourselves in kind of a sticky situation. In the first game, you were going into the zone. In this game, you're already in the zone and you can't remember who you are and you're lost. The only thing that you remember is that you're a stalker, you're out on a job, and you have to get out of the zone. So in the game, we're going to be travelling through the various sections of the zone as we try and escape it. We might come across anomalies, which are sort of strange phenomena that we will have to survive, and if we survive them, we tend to be granted some swag, useful low-level artifacts that are worth money. We'll also occasionally be rewarded with clues. We can also get clues when we kill enemies, and clues are important because by the end of the game we need to have collected 6 in order to ensure we have fully regained our memory and overcome our amnesia. Right, so we've got some rules here on skill tests. And skill tests are nice and straightforward. There's different types of rolls that we have to do in the game, but regardless of the type of roll, it is always the case that you roll 2 dice. Between 2 and 7 is a failure, 8 plus is a success, and 12 plus is a total success, because you tend to add on a skill modifier where possible, so you might get more than 12. We have vitality points, that's our health. We have luck points, don't get many of those, they're used to re-roll dice, I think. No, I think they allow you to roll an additional dice. Then we have armour points, which you can use to reduce damage. Don't start with any of those. And then you've also got ammo. And then if you make it through, you can level up and potentially go into the game again. And once again, Martin has highlighted that the final stage of the game is like a confrontation of some kind. And if you want to play again, you can, ahead of time, decide on a new idea for that confrontation, a sort of a twist on it, play through the game again, and then encounter and have an encounter of your own creation at the end. So the game can be played multiple times. We'll talk as we're playing about how this might not be the sort of game that you pull out time and time and time again, that perhaps there's a limited number of times that it can be played, although some effort is made at the back of the book, I'll show you in a second, to provide some resources that will allow you to expand upon the world of the zone and create new areas if you do want to continue playing. Right, so we've got some combat rules. Close combat checks, range combat checks, fleeing checks. We'll come back to those when we need to. The only other things to consider are situations where you're given advantage or disadvantage. And there we go, we've got some explanations, a little bit of discussion here on how to make the game replayable. And then it says here, what's the end goal? Every stalker's ambition is to accumulate enough wealth to enjoy a well-deserved retirement. If you want to use the same character during a series of playthroughs forming a campaign, I suggest fixing your goal at 20k or more. After that, your character can finally hang his kalash for good and leave the stalker life behind. Right, so you're trying to rack up money in order to retire, in order for your stalker to retire. So I think we're getting into character creation here. So we need to distribute 2 skill points among the 3 available skills. So you only get 2 skill points. So we've got 3 skills here. Muscles, nerves and brains. Muscles is used in close combat checks and represents a chance of succeeding at physical tasks. Nerves is used for range attack checks and represents the chance of succeeding at athletics and reflexes tests. And brains helps us resolving social encounters, resisting fear and dealing with anomalies. Represents mental fortitude, intelligence, discipline and charisma. So none of these can ever be more than +3, and we just get 2 points to distribute between them. So we could put both points in one of them, or we could have 1 point in one and 1 point in another, leaving a single one blank. So I've never played this before, so I think I'm just going to give myself +1 in brains, and should we go, let's go +1 in muscles. I think I'm just going to flip this to the other side. You'd think I'd have gotten used to that by now, but it's easier as a left-handed person to have that over there. Alright, so there we go, we've got +1 in muscles, +1 in brains, nothing in nerves. We always start with 20 vitality points, and then we get between 1 and 3 luck points. So I'm going to roll a dice. 1 or a 2 will give me 1 luck points, 3 or a 4 will give me 2, and 5 or a 6 will give me 3. Okay, so we are starting with 2 luck points. So I guess I do 2 of 2, like that. Starting items, so we're going to get 2 items, and we can roll dice or we can just choose them. So I guess we'll roll dice to see what items we get. And then we'll put them in the gear, or the weapons, if some of them are weapons. 3 gives us a helmet, wearable, +1 armour point. Cool. As we've got armour here. And I guess we'll just put a 1 after that. I think the way armour works is you utilise the point of armour that an item gives you, or multiple points if it gives you multiple points. And then once you've used those points up, then that armour is rendered useless, and you get rid of it. So I've got a helmet that gives me 1 point of armour, and 10 gives me a gas mask, provides protection against fumes, gas and certain environmental effects. So I guess I'll be told as I'm playing the times when that will come in handy. So I'll just put a gas mask in my gear, and then we're going to choose a specialisation, and probably I can see already one of them gives me a bonus on nerves, so maybe I should go for that. We can be a soldier, a tracker, a scientist, or a mystic. Alright, so let's be a tracker. Can we put that anywhere? Doesn't look like there's a spot for your specialisation, but I like to record these things for future prosperity. So we'll put it down here. Right, so tracker gets +1 nerves, and it says you start with a machete, which is a melee weapon that does 2 damage plus muscles. So let's put that here. Alright, we also get a bear trap, which is single use and does 1d6 auto damage. Not sure what auto damage is compared to just damage. I haven't come across that term explained anywhere, to my knowledge. What else? And we get some lock picks. Roll with advantage when trying to open a locked door. And it doesn't say that's single use, so I guess I can do that whenever I want. That's pretty cool. And that's that. Finally, give our stalker a name, assign them a pronoun. You are ready to take on the zone. Okay, so we need a name. I'm not very good at names. Just looking over at one of the other games I've got on my table. It's got the word Fang in the title. Let's call our raider Fang, and his pronoun is he, him. Okay, with that done, I think we're ready to make a start. So the book very much feels almost like a storybook. We've got a little intro text. Then we're going to go through various scenes. Each scene has 6 possible encounters that will happen. And then when we get to the end of the different scenes, if we've survived that long, then we have a final location where we have some kind of encounter. I'm not really sure what that is because I haven't read it, so it's a bit of a surprise to me. And then at the end, as I said, we've got a little bit of content to allow us to generate our own excursions into the zone. So we've got some different suggested locations, different objectives that you could be aiming to achieve, different weather that you might experience, encounters, anomalies. So that's kind of cool actually. So having said that the longevity of the game might not be amazing, there's definitely some effort at the end to extend the life of the game and to give you a chance to use your own creativity to come up with some ideas and to expand upon the world that Martin has started to create here. Here we go. And so it begins. Lord, what a splendid world we ruined. That is Dmitry Glukhovsky from Metro 2033, which is a science fiction novel. You remember nothing prior to that sensation of being sucked to the bottom of a gravity well, or falling to the ground with vertiginous velocity. You woke up standing in your boots, in the mud, in your Stalker get-up, grasping your weapon. At first your surroundings were plunged into total darkness. You looked up just in time to see the shape of a gigantic black bird dissipating like smoke in the sky. Spooky. As it flew away, light started to shine through, revealing the familiar sight of the exclusion zone. We've got a test straight away. Test your brains. If you succeed, gain a clue. If you have a total success, collect a luck point. Alright, so that's brains. So we roll 2d6, add on +1 for our brains. 8, 9, so that is just a basic success. Remember, if you roll 2 to 7, it's a fail. 12 plus is a total success. So we've got a basic success, which gives us a clue. So immediately we have started to remember a little bit, a few glimpses into who we are and why we're there. A violent migraine resonates inside your skull, eardrums pulsating under the blood rushing to your head. You took a minute to let your eyes take in the light. Your backpack contained no useful information on the reason of your presence here. Luckily, your survival essentials are still in there. You recall nothing of yourself, your past, or the outside world. The only thing that seems untouched is your knowledge of the zone, its dangers, and how to navigate them. It's lucky. Instincts more than memories, really. Same survival instincts tell you now that standing in place for too long generally doesn't end well for a stalker. Better get moving then, and get the hell out of here. Alright, I think I'm going to stop that there. So we've had a good introduction to the game system there. We've created our character Fang, who is a tracker, has got some good gear, a gas mask, a bear trap, and some lockpicks. We've luckily got a clue straight out the gate there, a good balance of muscles, nerves, and brains, and we're ready to start exploring our first location, which is a forest in the exclusion zone, as we try and escape the zone. Thanks very much for watching. Please do join me for the next one, and we will continue with this game. Bye for now.